Hello, everyone. This is Kati Gostaspi, and welcome to another podcast episode of the Kati podcast. Today, we are in the What and Who's a Healer sub-series podcast. You know what I mean. And before we get there, the mission of my podcast, I want to tell you about that, remind you of that, is for all of us to realize that we are great. We can be even greater. And most importantly, how can we bring this greatness of ours to the world through what I call a brand? And I do the Kati podcast for two reasons. One, I truly care about humanity deeply. And I really want us all to see how great we really are so that we can be happier. The second reason is because I struggle just like you do with my feelings of being less than, and I'm just like everyone else, and we learn from one another. Some days are good, some days are bad, my friends, but the truth of it is when we talk to one another, when we have candid conversations, everyone thrives. So this time, my guest on the podcast, the Who and What's a Healer podcast, is Leanna Moonlight Meier. She is an energetic coach, and Leanna and I met through Mike Dooley and the TUT program, and what a blessing that has been. So welcome to my friend Leanna. How are you, Leanna?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Katie.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. So, Leanna, and yeah, actually, let me correct. It's not correcting
you.
Version 2.0. Everyone starts off with Katie. It's Kati. That's what my mom likes it. It's a short T and no H. It's like Kathy without the H. And I bet people call you Leanne. Like I just know.
Leanna. I knew it was Kathy.
So, I don't know if we both stand corrected, but you know, it's a flow. We all learn, right? And that's how it works. So you can be Leanne and I'll be Katie, or you can be Leanna, your real name, and I'll be Kati. So anyway, whatever it is, who cares about names? We're all humans at the end of the day. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
So tell me your story. Tell our audience a little bit about yourself and what you're about.
Yeah, great. So as you'll notice, it's Leanna Moonlight Meier. So the reason why I've chosen to keep that name through my coaching career is also because I was at an outdoor school for about 8 years. And actually I was an EMT and a summer camp director, special event coordinator. But really the reason why I was there at that place is because a few years before that, I was always with children working in special education, social skills programs, and some friends of mine through a play had invited me up to an outdoor school to be with their children when they were up at camp at outdoor school. And I just started to notice how the teachers there and how they were completely inclusive. And it wasn't even just equality. It was actually even beyond that. I felt like each and every person was seen for who they are, but also their talents. And also it didn't matter if they had a disability or whatever it was, but they were seen as someone that was contributing, making a difference. And I just knew that I had to be a part of that school and that program. And so yeah, I've always had inclusion very close and near and dear to my heart. And through doing all of that, I always had some type of energetic work behind the scenes. So I was an energetic healer, a second-degree Reiki healer, mostly doing intuitive work. And at that time, I barely even shared it with anybody because it felt weird or like out there or woo-woo or whatever it was. And so for most of my life, I haven't really talked about it or put it out there of what I do. But every time I had a transition in my life, I always went back to transformative work, energy work. And so this last second time when I decided to move up here to Oregon, where I am, I just decided that after working with this coach that's what I love to do because it's actually the deepest way to make transformation in the quickest way possible in people's lives. And that's always what I've been looking for, is that quickest, fastest way to make a difference and make a change. And I just feel like when you make a difference at a soulful level, it just shifts and changes everything. So that's how I kind of started getting into this.
That's fascinating. So I have so many things to ask you follow-up questions on and unpack this one. First of all, you said inclusion has always been somewhere in my heart. What does that mean? Tell us more about that. Explain that.
Yeah, let me take a breath here. So I'm even still in groups now that I think that what I've noticed is that inclusion, belonging, everything to me almost feels like a vibration. It is a vibration of being welcome. It's a vibration of that being seen, being heard, and then also I feel like felt, because a lot of the people that I work with can feel on a deep level, and sometimes they don't even know what that is. They know that they can become more sensitive, but a lot of even children that I work with can feel so many things around them and they don't know what's going on. And so much of the time they're seen where they need to be fixed or help with social skills or whatever it is. But I just believe that if they knew how to, yeah, they're probably more in tune with things and with energy and things that are going on, that yeah, when we all come together, that's what inclusion is understanding each and every person and how we each work. And yeah, just bringing everybody together is inclusion to me. And it's just a knowing, a vibration. You're just connected, and connection at a very deep level, and that oneness to me is what I've been after. I think, even beyond inclusion is oneness, and that we're all connected on some level. And how can we find that?
Well, that's just beautiful, especially this day and age where, as we've all heard and seen many times, there's so much divisiveness. And that's why I do this podcast, because I want people to really look at their careers and who they are as part and parcel with the healing process.
Yeah.
Goes back to what you said earlier, that you kind of kept it under wraps because you don't want people to think it was woo woo or whatever the word was. And I feel the same way. And that's why I started this podcast series, because everyone in every moment has the option of accessing how they can heal others and heal themselves, because there is a oneness and we are connected. And so, to your point, you said it so beautifully. You said inclusion is a vibration of being welcomed and seen. So, to me, this is so powerful. This year, I have had the honor of chairing the American Bar Association Law Practice Division Diversity and Inclusion Committee. And to your point, we're changing the name from diversity and inclusion to diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, because it's really what you're talking about. And it is a vibe. It's a vibe of healing that happens when we look and we see other people as being like us, as being more similar than different, and really believing, because I think people are in denial, that we are all connected somehow. And there is a oneness. So if you don't like somebody else, it's reflected back on you. And if you exclude somebody else, it's reflected back on you. And how is that so hard to believe? I have been reading this fantastic book one of my clients sent me. And Leanna, I think you should read this too, because you would love it. It's called Caste, Caste, by Isabel Wilkerson. Everyone, I hope you get this name down. Wilkerson, Wilkerson. You can't miss it. It's probably already on the New York Times bestseller list. She's a Pulitzer Prize winning writer, and this is her second book on this topic of really the caste system and how it works in the United States. And we think it's from India, but it's not. Or it may have been, but the way we treat people, and it really does belong on everybody's bookshelf, because it's something we don't want to talk about. And she puts it full on out there in such beauty, in the way you talk about it as well. So I think in this day and age, what you do is very necessary. And we need more of it. Now, the point about not wanting to talk about being a healer, let's talk about that a little bit. So what do you think? What are we going to do to change our minds about that, and to change other people's minds about discovering who they are as healers?
Yeah, that's a great question. For me, what's always helped me is being a part of groups too, that you can fully be yourself. And then I just feel like once you've done that in a place, then you can kind of take it out and into normal everyday places. I'm part of a group right now. It's called the Melting Pot, and it's basically about healing America. And this leader's name is Niyama Ashlong, and he was that place where I felt like I completely belonged. And he focuses on like-hearted people and different-minded people. So it's that thing of we might be thinking differently. We bring our gifts and talents, but we're together connected in our heart, and each and every person is connected in their heart. And that to me is what's healing. And in every conversation that I have with people, when I say the word healing, I have this feeling of bringing people back home to who they are. And to me, that always starts in people's hearts. And a lot of people don't even know the capacity of love and how that feels. And again, that's at the core of every single person. So the more that people can tap into this love and expand their hearts, then they start to view their outer world differently. So I've always believed that it's a inward journey first and then going outward. And it does take courage and vulnerability to be able to do that and access that. And, during this time, there are so many things that are pushing people to their limits. And we know that sometimes people have to fail pretty far to start listening, or get hit over the head so many times before you start listening to something. And I just think on the beautiful side of things that each and every person is going through this collective experience where they are being pushed to their limits. And I do believe that the people are going to come out stronger on the other side, because people are going to have to start looking within, and things are slowing down. And it's a forced way of people having to slow down, to look inwardly, look at their lives, from the inside out.
Oh, you said so many beautiful things there as well. It's funny you said bringing people back home to their hearts and tapping into the love that allows them to heal themselves and others. And I'm finding that to be so true for myself. And I do this kind of work, right? But I have been working on myself, on loving myself more, because every time I close my eyes and meditate, Leanna, I hear less is more, and my right hip hurts. And I keep asking, why does my right hip hurt? Because you need to love yourself more and slow down some more. And so, there's so much to be said for that, to go into your heart space. And in this time of pandemics and change, really figuring out where you can love yourself more and be kinder to yourself. And that doesn't require anything woo-woo, folks. Leanna will be the first one to tell you. It's what I'm doing, like slowing down. Like yesterday on a Sunday, okay, today's a Monday, we're recording this. I did so many things, Leanna. And I remember thinking to myself, that was the first day, because I'm a workhorse. First time I stopped and realized, Kathy, what part of all the things you did today was loving for you? And it was a very small list that was just for me, but the rest it's not about I'm being a martyr. It's just too much, doing too much. So I don't know whether this pandemic, to the listener, has made you like me, where we're doing too much. I guess maybe I've always done it. I've just amped it up more because I want to be more of service and not be lazy. But maybe it's made you want to just sit around and sulk. So there has to be harmony and a happy medium, and the center focus has to be about self-love. Because if you don't love yourself, you can't go out there and make a difference to other people. Is that fair, Leanna?
Yeah, and I think that it's that thing of accepting each and every emotion, or what each and every person is going through. Because when you were speaking about that, I told you I'd had a coach right before I decided to become one this last final time. And I've always gone to transformational work whenever I've needed to make a shift in what I'm doing. And I feel like 3 years ago, I had that experience where I found out that it's another type of coping mechanism. They talked about fight, flight, freeze, or also fawning, which I hadn't heard of, but it's when you give so much of yourself and you just keep giving, you feel like you have to make a difference, and then you're completely depleting yourself. And I did that at my the outdoor school that I was at before, where we had a loss of director, there were things that were going on. So I took on the special event coordinating. I took on I was the EMT, but then I helped on more on the programming, became a union rep. Like I did that, where I completely depleted myself. I had family members that needed me for caregiving, and I would go over to their house and help to try to take care of them at the same time. And I had a 1-year-old baby, as they say it and rattle it off. It's so much. And I had that experience where my body was starting to get really angry at me. And those were those warning signs, was what my body was saying to me. And, you just push them off sometimes. It was like having irritable bowel syndrome to start. And then a couple months later, I had to have my gallbladder removed because of the stress that I was under. And I hold all of my stress in my body. And really, like you said, it's, you could go healing, you could go so far, but at the most simplistic part of it is noticing your body, like even just right now, talking about it, feeling the stress that's in my body. Where is it? Being able to breathe through it, and being able to talk about it. So I feel like that's what I've done before. And this time through this pandemic, just being able to notice that that's my go-to, is to go out and help everybody and everything, and do that again. And this time I would start to, but I would catch myself. And that was really important. And also doing the work that I did to find my inner guidance system is really important, because then when you have that, and that's what I help people get to, is that inner knowing of what we are meant to do. Because when you tap into that and the essence of who you are, the impact that you make is so much bigger. It's almost like you're doing things on the surface level, like going here, trying to put out this fire. It's like putting out a fire. You're trying to go here, here, and here, but you're not getting to the core of what would make the biggest difference. And that's what I help people do, is get to that core of who they are to make that biggest difference, while taking care of themselves, having that self-love, opening up their heart. And once their heart is open, the deeper the impact. And that's what it's really about for me, is the deepest impact that's possible. Because again, you can have those conversations with two different people having arguments with each other, right? One side and this side. And that's where I've always found myself, is right in the middle. So it could be like woo-woo out there, and then also really analytical and trying to get things done. And then I hold that space in the middle where they can hear each other. And
so let me ask you, when you say, I want to ask you about the energetic work and making an impact. Why do you think it's important for us to make an impact? For those of my audience who are listening, who are like, what is wrong with these two women? What the heck are they talking about? I go to work, it's my job. I'm a professional. I'm a lawyer, a doctor, financial services, whatever I am. I do what I do, and I assume it makes an impact, but I do my job. So I don't stop and think about impact. What do you say to that? That seems like a fair viewpoint people may have.
Yeah. Well, as I've, started my own business and been in different places, the impact happens, and it's really their goals. Some people obviously aren't still going to resonate with it. They want to just kind of go about their day, but it's in each and every relationship that we have. To me, it's about having a fuller life, and how that feels. Because even if people are still just doing their job, I have this feeling of coming alive. I watched The Greatest Showman, and I just think of that song, like you stumbled through a haze with your head hung down, and it's that feeling of, they depict it so well. You're in a office, you're looking out the window, you're doing the same thing over and over again. And to me, I guess I'll get to impact here, but it's the part of just having that feeling of being alive, that every day is magical. There's different things that can happen once you connect with who you are, your purpose, your heart. And then you can feel like the love that's just around with just the different people that you interact with. And I guess to me, I know that impact happens on the other side, but I have gotten less away from having to have an impact. It's like, it is when you think about your goals and things like that in your business, it's like, yeah, you can plan it out, get to that goal, have that goal happen. But then there's always just something else, right? There's just something else, like, okay, I've gotten to this point in my life. Okay, what's next? Okay, I've gotten this done in my finances. What's next? Okay, my business, but for me, it's about being in the moment, feeling just that feeling of being alive. Like, I had a teacher or a principal that I was helping this last year that during the time of COVID, that felt the most alive that she's ever felt. And so to me, I know that when someone feels that way, their heart's expanded, they're going to have an impact. And it just happens in all areas of life that happens. I guess when you say that, yeah, I'm not so much on, I know that I help impact and driven leaders and their impact will just happen. But I don't think that the impact should actually be the thing that they focus on. It's actually, again, inwardly that the impact just happens and you get to watch it happen. And that part of surrendering to what it is that's going to happen, going to happen. When you build relationships, your company just blooms for it because people are connected to each other. They want to stay there. They're invested in it. They want to grow. So if people are focusing more on money, there's more money is going to happen. There's more of an abundance that happens when you do that. And I'm really big. The part that I like about business for me is when people have a business that they're dialed in on and they want to expand their community and bring people together, because I've always naturally been able to do that. It's actually been harder for me not to build community where I am right now, so I can focus on my business. But I know that that's my gift to give to other people. And so that's impact, just people having joy-filled lives and feeling connected. And then when they feel that way, they want to do a good job. I mean, it's like children too, but it's at work. They want to do a good job. They want to be there and make that business really successful. So, yeah.
Wow, I got it. That makes a lot of sense. So don't focus on the impact first. Focus on creating joy and knowing who you are. Is that a good summary? So if I came to you and I said, "What's an energetic coach? How can you help me?" What would you say? How does the process work?
So I would say that it's an inner journey first that ends up coming out. I help guide people to feeling home, and I give, let's see here. I do have impact-driven leaders that are really dedicated. So it's like I basically take care of them when they're taking care of the rest of the world. They need time to have somebody to go to where I can go to relax, take a breath, look inwardly, know what's going on with them. And then for me, again, different energetic coaches are different, but my line is always that I'm with you. There's something about just me being with people and being a part of their lives that magic just happens. People are like, "Oh, I feel like you're a genie. I just say what it is that I want, and then all of a sudden it starts to happen." And when I was at an outdoor school, like I loved talking with all the teachers. Like every single week, we had different teachers up there, a big group of people. I would sit down at breakfast with them and just talk to them about their lives and just amazing things every year would start happening for them. So for me, it's that I am with each and every person that I'm there with in their journey, and I go along with them for a year, and I help to make sure that they are in their home place, the essence of who they are, living by their values and what they desire. A lot of people are trying to figure everything out again on the surface, what other people want. But to me, I bring them home through just bringing up questions, letting them talk, and really the people that I help are more on this energetic kind of wavelength. They already have like a basic knowledge, and they can start to tune in a little bit to their inner guidance when they're off of alignment with who they are. And it's a really simple conversation, but we'll see when you coach me, there's always something that you don't even know what you're there for. Like one of my clients says, she's like, "I never know where we're going to go, but we always get there."
That's funny. Yeah, that's very true. When you're true and you're open and you're sincere and you're just willing to explore, I think beautiful things happen. And especially with people like you and me, who are adept at really sensing what people need before they know it.
Yes.
And being able to deliver on that within the paradigm, within the giving people what they really also want as well. Not just what we know they need. So that's fabulous. I love it. A genie. I like that. So
can I say something real quick too?
Yeah.
And I was just saying that that's for people that are listening, why it's so important to hear this, where you're going to be coaching me, because it's not something you can really explain. It has to be something that's experienced.
Very true. Very, very good point. Yes, absolutely. Because I don't even like the word coach, frankly.
Yeah.
What's a coach?
I think a lot of coaches don't like the actual word, but we're like, oh, I guess I have to have something to tell people what it is. But really, it's an experience. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I think coaching versus experience is so awesome because it's like tangible, right? But coaching is so amorphous, and it has such a bad connotation because we assume like we're at a deficit when we need a coach, and it's actually not true. I mean, none of my clients are broken. My clients are all going from good to great. And they're truly amazing people. They just want to develop a brand and understand who they are so they can go out there and even be more amazing and then be able to communicate who they are well with their audience. I mean, who wouldn't want that? I think that's amazing. So look at it as an experience, folks. So, Leanna, now we come to part two, like you were saying, where my audience wants to hear from you, the person being interviewed. What is that one thing that's on your mind that's keeping you up at night that you would like coaching from me on, knowing what I do around developing people and their brands and really the essence of who they are so they can communicate it, own it, and put it out to market for themselves well. So what's one thing that's been going on with you that we can coach you through?
Boom. What a great way to say that. So I'm currently going to be working with somebody to do a video to put on my website about this. I just think it's interesting. We talked that whole time, and I still don't bring up autism and what I'm really challenging people to do because at the core of everything that I've said, I know that in my past, I've always worked with children with special needs, and in every community I've been a part of that has children with autism, I just see the love that's present there. I were to say in any community that I've ever been a part of, it's the place where I've felt the most at home and the most where I can truly be who I am. And I connect the most deeply with these children and these parents. And I know that my next wave is gearing towards that. But it comes together with everything that I just said. And I think I keep having that hard part of bringing it together where it feels cohesive.
Okay, so I need to flesh that out because I need clarity on that. So, What is the question there? You're making a video, you hadn't brought up autism until now, but when you're in that community, it feels cohesive to you?
I'm looking at how to make it cohesive to bring about what I do with my coaching world and bringing back what I do with children with autism and parents.
Okay. So it's interesting that you haven't brought it up the whole time.
Yeah. Right.
Where do these two things come together? I'll throw the question back at you. How do you see them connected so that the video would make sense? Because I see them as disparate things on its face. However, it may not be. So you tell me, why do you want to combine these two efforts?
Yeah, it's interesting. So I think even interesting you saying that it's that they are the same thing and people don't like realize it. So
yeah, exactly.
So what I do in my world, it does connect, and how to communicate it to the outside world, how it connects. Because to me, there's this line of finding your unconventional truth, just deepening into what it is. And to mine is it's that children with autism are here to teach us, and we're not meant to fix or change them. And I feel like, and again, autism is also a label. So again, same with coaching, we don't we're all one. So it's hard for me to even think of it as a label. And at the same time, in other countries, they call it neurodiverse. But the thing is that I feel like they're able to tap into this inner healing, this love so much easier. They have, people say like maybe they can't connect. They're not looking at you in your eyes. They don't have empathy, but I think they actually go beyond what empathy is, that it's actually that they feel so deeply and connect. And this is where I tear up. They connect so deeply with other people that they just can't even, someone who's neurotypical can actually connect with them because they're not fully open to receiving what a child with autism can give.
Fair enough. So
Yeah.
how does that tie into the work that you want to do for people that don't have autism? With energy.
I have this title of a program at some point that's becoming autistic, because
I love it.
because so what I have right now is one conversation. So challenging the world to feel the love of autism is the title of this group that I have. And so at the first part of it is people sharing the love of autism and the community and like all of the wonderful, beautiful things that I see. And then the second half is like this, it's coaching. So it's actually coaching people to find that love. So maybe it's a parent that has a child with autism. Maybe it's just somebody that wants to have what they desire in their life, because even if it's that, when they open up to that love, they're going to be able to connect to a child with autism. Because what I've noticed, and there's this Special Kids Special Books is this amazing YouTube channel that is basically all different types of mental health disorders or different things, where they are just completely authentic and being interviewed on what it's like to live with certain disabilities or challenges or whatever. And every time that I have watched a video of children with autism, it's that their parents they see it as a gift, and that when they're around somebody else, they can't connect unless they're being authentic. The other person is being authentic. And so I just feel like if people learn for themselves to be more authentic, can connect with the child with autism, they are going to become this, again, full of love, alive. Like, think about just even that alive feeling. We're so protected. We think that, when some children with autism like shake their hands in the air, they flap their hands because they're so excited. Whatever it is, like, we end up saying, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. But the thing is, like, they're so alive and excited, they hold nothing back. And everything about a coach, if you were to take everything from the coaching world and like, what do I do? Oh, I make people feel unstoppable. Oh, I make people open up their hearts to love. Oh, I do this and that. It's like, these children are already doing that. They're being that is more of it. We coach people in a way of being than the different things that we do. And the way that they're being in this world, they're pure joy, they're pure love. When I first started my coaching world, I started asking, you ask friends of like, can I, coach you? Can I practice this? And one of she's in mid-20s now. I asked her if I could help coach her. She has autism. And I'm like, okay, we're going to go into the future 3 months from now. Who would you have to be? And it was like loving, being herself, all this. And I go to coach her and I'm like, there's nowhere for me to like move you. She was just so happy and, and full of love. And, we ended up doing things for other people basically. But it's that thing of they just already are everything that I want people to become.
Wow. What a beautiful reframe on all of us, those with autism, those without autism, whatever, on the spectrum, however way you want to look at it. And really, oh my gosh, it's so commendable. I hope you all are understanding this, that it's a reframe on how we see the differences we have as humanity. And that just because one person is labeled autistic and that captures all the ways we perceive them that they have to be, does not mean that they're not perhaps already leaps and bounds ahead of us on some scale that we desire to be. I often look at this with my husband, in marital relationships and in love relationships, it works like this. So think about the person you're dating or the person you're married to, your significant other. Sometimes like he'll do something and I'm like, oh, I wish he'd figure this out for himself. I figured it out long ago. And then I had an epiphany one day when I was meditating. I'm like, oh my gosh, what if he's leaps and bounds ahead of me and I am trying to figure that out? And I look at life as a spectrum, right? And what if he's further along one way on the spectrum? How is it that I'm seeing it only from one perspective, right? So fascinating what you're saying, Leanna. It's amazing. And so I think you gave the best answer I could have given you in this coaching part. I'm not done with you yet. And I want to wrap it up though by telling you this. So you must bring this concept of challenging the world to share the love of autism to the video front and center, and then weave it in to the context of what an energetic coach is and what you do. You said it maybe maybe like 3 minutes ago, but it was way too long into the conversation, not for me and my audience, but for a video.
Yeah.
So I need you to sit down and write out, Leanna. There's such a blessing in pen to paper. I think we've all lost our penmanship skills. I can't even read my own handwriting anymore because we don't write anymore. We're always typing. Even right now, writing my third manuscript, I type it, right? Because who's going to write by hand? However, the deeper connection to ourselves and our ability to cogently communicate who we are with our audience lies in the pen to paper connection. Every day when I meditate afterwards, I keep meditating by writing. I'll ask a question of my guides and the answer will come through my written answer. And the beauty of that is it's captured, Leanna, so you can go back and read it like a month later, the highlights, because there's so much that you can download, but you can only capture so much of it if you're just sitting there with it instead of writing it. So write out what you want to convey in this video about how autism comes together with energetic coaching. And then how you can take the learnings of the love of autism, and bring it to those of us. And, you need to frame it in a way where people don't feel offended or afraid that, oh my gosh, are you comparing me with autistic people? Look, I'm just saying it because no one is going to want to say it to you. And everyone's going to be like, I wouldn't say that. Of course not. None of this is conscious. But the branding work I do with clients, it's all subconscious processing of data. So they may say that, or they may say, what does an autistic person know that I don't already know? So those are the two enlightening pivot points I want you to keep focused on. And those are how you're going to want to frame that conversation with people. And that video in and of itself, I'm getting, is going to be extremely educational and maybe a huge part of your platform. So take your time with that video, write it out, rewrite it. I'm asking you to script it. But before that, I'm asking you to go through and really write for yourself how these two concepts come together, because they do, and it's brilliant. Does that make sense?
Yeah, just repeat what people with autism, what they know that I wouldn't know. So somebody else.
Exactly. Yeah. And what I'm afraid of, like, don't compare me to an autistic person. I'm not autistic. Well,
but see, that's not even in my world.
Right. Exactly. That's the beauty of this coaching. I'm in that world where I can bring objectivity and say, this is how people may view it. Like, what do I have to do with autism? Nothing. That's what people would say, right? Thank God I don't have an autistic child, one might say. Now, no, I'm verbalizing things that people would never want to say out loud. But it's okay, folks. Look, this is how we learn and this is how we grow. I don't have children, but I can imagine. I have a very good girlfriend from law school who has an autistic child. And, anyway, so we all know how she feels truly because she shared that with us. But this is how people feel, and they don't want to talk about it. But I need you to tie it together with that beauty and that grace of the words that only you have, based on the experiences that you've had with this community, that we really need to learn how they can teach us. And oh gosh, that brings such unity and such oneness to life.
Yeah,
Fair?
that's the book that I'm the writing set, The Wisdom of Autism, What They Want You to Know.
Gosh, I love it. And once you start writing it, I have someone to connect you with who can actually give you a lot of good input. So please remember that and email me and I will connect you with them. So on that note, we've got to wrap it up. I could talk to Leanna for hours, and you and I could learn from her, and we could all learn from each other for hours. But the point is, we must wrap it up. So thank you so much for being with us, Leanna. Is there some place where people can find you? Do you have a website up?
Yes, I do. It's on patreon.com/uplifting.
Okay, can you spell that for us?
It's patreon.com/uplifting.
All right. So that's where you can find her. And I want to thank you all for listening to another episode of my podcast, this time on Who and What's a Healer. I hope it's given you insight and understanding about what healing really is and how you and I have the capacity to heal ourselves and to heal others just by showing up and living our purpose and being happier in our lives, and then living your everyday job. That's a healing potential too. You just have to remember that. So until next time, go take this content, do what you can with it to make your brand shine, to make yourself outstanding and be a contribution to the world, because you already are just by showing up, and share this podcast with others who you think would help. And until next time, Ketaji out.